I think
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Cletus. It's interesting to see the different angles you brought, because one that stuck with me is the fact that in as much as this is a technology that is useful for cybersecurity, it's also exposing the fact that hackers and scammers are using it for bad behavior. Thank you so much for bringing that up. I'll be moving straight to Omokoshola because you are in the product space, you are international product group manager. And for the example that Cleto just gave, that had to be done through a product, right? And because tech platforms products are mostly hosted online, I believe that they are more exposed to attacks by scam and all of these security threats. So for someone who is in a global organization like Meta, in your experience, does AI bring more personalization or more complexity to growth strategies? Because the bigger you grow, we said that the bigger you grow, the more problems that come your way, either as a business owner or as an individual. So would you say that AI brings more personalization, more benefits, or more complexity to business growth?
Thank you, Imo, and thank you, Cletus, for starting on a very fresh and interesting ground. Thank you, Tech Economy, for having me as well. I think it goes both ways, really. And I like the interesting examples that Cletus had shared while he was explaining. And interestingly, I think it's day zero for AI, even though AI, is widespread. We're all talking about it. In fact, we're having a conversation today, but I think it's still day zero. I think it's still learning. For example, people will say, I use ChatGPT, it's really good, but the responses were not all that personalized. It probably hasn't understood me as much as I would want it to. So I think it's a journey. I think it's day zero. But in terms of personalization, of course, I think that it's just like a cost versus benefit situation. It has its pros and it has its cons. In terms of personalization, if you look at AI, I think there are so many ways that it's beneficial to us. I think that when we look at personalization, we're creating ads, for example, a lot of small businesses, especially in emerging markets or emerging economies, they have low digital literacy. They do not understand their users as much. They do not understand user behavior. You can't compare with maybe a medium to large sized enterprise that can afford the skill of an experienced content marketer or digital marketer, for example. And so these people have to rely on AI to help them define their audience when they're creating an ad such that their ads are delivered to the right people or the right people are consuming their products. So AI is beneficial in that sense. You also want to know your users. For example, we all build digital products, but do our users use every part of that digital product? I don't necessarily think so. So AI can help you learn the features that people engage with the most, how people use your product, and how you should optimize to earn maybe their lifetime value or earn their loyalty as customers, or even improve your products to serve them better. So I think if we look at so many ways that AI helps small businesses, which is the heart and the heartbeat actually of so many emerging economies, I think that AI could be very, very beneficial. It could also help you to improve efficiency. I like to use the example of Chowdeck when they scaled their customer service team down. A lot of growing businesses cannot afford a 200-man team, for example, to respond to all their customers across Nigeria. Nigeria only has over 200 million people. And so if a good number of people are your addressable market or your users, you cannot employ enough people to attend to them. I mean, a lot of us complain about the telcos, the banks. Oh, I call them, they put me on the waiting list for 15 minutes. And so AI now is, provide the frequently asked question answers to users. So you ask, oh, how can I do this? Response to you. And then when it's more technical, they transfer it to a user or a human to then, provide further answers. So I think in all of this sense, AI is very beneficial to businesses. And I'm very passionate about small businesses or growing businesses and growing products. And I think that they would enjoy the most value from AI than even big organizations. However, that's not to eliminate the part of the complexity. A lot happens, especially because of data dependency. There's a lot of clean data, relevant data that AI needs to work with. And so when the data quality is bad, personalization can also go bad and be very creepy as well. Um, right now, if you want to build a marketing team or you want to use AI for marketing, you need an AI tool for chatbots, you need an AI tool for A/B testing, you need an AI tool for recommendations, you need so many, and it's a lot of moving parts. And so that can make your team struggle as well, because there's just one tool that does this and does this. It's not like one holistic product that addresses the entire thing. So I think that also brings complexity, if you ask me. I also think that when we start thinking about the ethical use of AI and privacy, there's also a lot of complexity, especially when you want to scale your products beyond a certain market. For example, the Nigerian government is putting together their AI Act. And if you go to Europe, for example, there's GDPR, there's another AI Act. You go to Turkey, it's another thing. You go to the US, it's another thing. So I think that scaling would be a challenge, because how then do you balance all of this that's happening at the same time? So yeah, I think as much as it has its pros, it definitely has its cons. But we pick and choose and we decide how we want to go from here. But that's in a nutshell, it's a balance of both.
Thank you so much. I was in my mind hoping you would say with these few points of mine, I hope I've been close. Yeah, but that's fine. Thank you so much for bringing that energy. Thank you so much. So I want to move quickly straight to Mr. Adeshola because he's a solution architect and we've been talking about everything, building what AI does, what AI doesn't. And so Mr. Adeshola, as a chief technologist and also a solution architect, just let us keep riding on the wave of AI threats and of course the what it can also help businesses do. So in adopting AI for businesses at scale, what are the biggest threats and opportunities that you actually see in your field of specialty?
Okay. Thank you very much, Imo. Thank you for having me. Cletus gave us a lovely starter, and I love the follow up by Omo Boshola. Okay, I will start by emphasizing this, and this statement is not technical in any way, shape, or form. I like to highlight that nothing in the realm of time and space would ever outweigh the weight or the robustness of the human soul. And why have I said that? I've said that because you see, AI emanated from the thinking of man. You see, whatever shape AI is taking gives you an insight into how human beings are evolving or have evolved over the years. So, from an architectural standpoint, um, I also highlight that AI lives or dies by data. AI is whatever it is today because of the amount of data and the quality of data that has been fed into it or that continues to be fed into it. So I will say I like to when it comes to business or the business of technology, I like to um place my priority on small businesses because you have a lot of them the strength of any economy lies on how much empowerment small businesses receive. So as far as technology is concerned, the rule of thumb for me is this: when it comes to opportunity, I think we're in great times. The woes are there. For every level, there's a new devil. I don't know if anybody's aware of that statement. So AI comes with opportunities, and by reason of the kind of power it has at the center of it, it comes with its own woes. I mean, like Cletus mentioned about cybersecurity. Now, you don't need to be a technical genius of some sort to create a malware. And you will agree with me that it's easy to destroy a thing than build. So in as much as there are opportunities that people can leverage, in as much as I don't need to go to a school of software engineering to do something. In my own opinion, I think you need to understand software engineering to really leverage AI, in the space of software engineering. But you can do something now, just like back in the day. You didn't need to be a web designer or web developer to use the internet, to send emails, to browse a website. So what is happening in terms of opportunities, that what it means to be a layman in 2025 has changed. So what it means to be a layman now is now being able to generate maybe a flyer for social media without needing a graphic designer. It might not be as professional as what a professional graphic designer would do, but I can do something for myself without having to break my bank account. I can generate a video for my new product without having to call a video editor, something basic that helps my business. Now, from an architectural standpoint, this is what I'll say. The same old principle of starting small applies. How do you prepare your data? What is your purpose? What are you trying to achieve with your business? What are your thoughts? I mean, if you can't organize your thoughts, AI can't work for you. I see people. I mean, I was having a conversation with one of my bonds about ChatGPT, and I was like, I need ChatGPT, blah blah blah. Do I go for the premium version? I say you don't need the premium version. If I can edit code, write a simple algorithm with the free version. I mean, you don't write algorithms. Why are you paying for the premium version? And he paid for it. He used it for a while, and he came back to me. He was like, yeah. He said, all these salespeople online, they make it seem like you just put it on auto and it's just. I said, no, that's not how it works. So the idea people get is that I will just, I mean, I don't have to think, I don't have to put in effort, because it's AI, it's just going to sort out everything for me. No, that's not what this is about. For me, the opportunity that AI fundamentally gives is to, or has created, is a scenario where creative block is no longer an excuse. Creative, you can't say, I mean, you can jumpstart. You can jumpstart that thought process with AI, but you still have to think through. You still have to, because it suffers with what we call, is it amnesia? It hallucinates. So if you're not auditing what it's giving back to you, you're just going to churn out rubbish with the greatest version of ChatGPT. You're still going to churn out rubbish if you're not putting conscious effort into what you're doing. Yes, the opportunity is there to help you organize your thoughts. It's like Cletus rightly mentioned, it's a co-pilot. It's meant to collaborate with you to minimize errors and scale up your results. I don't know if that makes sense. The purpose of AI is scalability. So I'll also make reference quickly to it taking anybody. I don't think it's going to take anybody's job. It's simply redefining what it means to be a professional in your space, whether you're a business developer, you're a web developer, you're a software engineer, whatever it is that you are, it is there to make you better at what you already are. So my advice is, if a person comes and says, I want to get into software engineering, how long do I need to study? I say you should study as long as possible. You don't study 3 months and say you're a software engineer. Don't. And think that AI is just going to, do your work for you. There's a project I'm on. We ran into an error. I had to go back. I delegated to some of our junior staff. I mean, they couldn't sort it out. So I used AI. It wasn't doing it perfectly, but I was able to get it to give me the solution because I kept driving it and probing what it was giving back. It was giving. That was a point I got angry. I said, "Are you high? Can't you see that what you are giving me back is wrong?" It was a funny process. So that's to tell you that you still have to do the work. It's not a human being. You still have. So back to the main question: architecture. Prepare. Have a clear-cut idea of where you want to land. What's your vision? What's your vision before you touch AI or you touch any tool? What's your vision? Do you understand? What's your vision? The second thing is, you want to leverage AI. AI leverages data. Do you understand? Without breaking the bank, a practical example of how to start to leverage AI as a small business is to leverage a cloud provider like Google. Once you have your data on Google Sheets, you have your files on Google Drive, you have access to Gemini. You can say that, okay, yeah, let me start gathering my data with Google Sheets. I start computing my data there. I put my files on Drive. I leverage the ecosystem. I can integrate it with Gmail. I can integrate my corporate email into Gmail such that I'm able to send and receive from Gmail. You keep you keep that structure at the base. Then as you scale up, you can move. You understand that if you are scaling up into the paid version, eventually when you've made a lot of money to justify that payment, again, that's very vital because you find a lot of people throwing money at technology, hoping that technology is the reason why their business will grow. And it's happening within the tech ecosystem where you see somebody receives a lot of funding and they mean well, they set out to do good and solve a problem, but they think that they can just throw money at the latest technology and oh, I have $16 million. By the time I spend $2 million, I should have broken even and made 100 million. It doesn't work like that. The traditional principles that drives businesses still come to play. Technology, whether it's AI or non-AI tech, is there to add or to help you scale the order that you have set or put in place. So the goal of the opportunity is that you can start small and you can go far with a lot of free tools if you know what you're doing. And I mean, there are a lot of even as far as AI models are concerned, there are a lot of AI models out there that you can leverage to do your work. It's simple example that we all know. I mean, it's Gemini, it's ChatGPT. The free version can help you achieve a lot if you understand your context. Like a few years ago, we're talking about prompt engineering. Now it's context engineering. If you want to get the best results out of AI, you need to sit down and truly understand who you are, what you're trying to achieve, the results you're trying to get. So AI won't favor those who don't know what they're doing. AI won't favor those who don't know how to think. Critical thinking is not a function of how vast you are with technology. It's a function of how much you have studied and how much you continue to study and read and study and read and be curious of the world around you, be curious of your space, your field of study. Then you bring that knowledge into AI, and that will, it keeps you better equipped to get the best result out of artificial intelligence. So as far as opportunities, the opportunities are clear. You can get the best out of what artificial intelligence has to offer today for free, without cost, without having to pay for expensive, whether it's a VO3 or ChatGPT 5 premium. I mean, you can do a lot without having to spend money on all of those premium subscriptions. Then leveraging the free tools while paying attention to how to really practically grow your business, the right way. So the opportunities are there. And um the negative aspects so are also there because, like I said, for every new level, there are new devils. Evil is in the world because human beings exist.
Yeah,
You understand? So the tools that are out there that can do a lot of good can also be leveraged to achieve and scale a lot of evil. So the
yeah,
Yahoo boys are now empowered to use AI to create malwares. The same way, the creators of this world, the content creators, the designers, the animators, the software engineers are now empowered to do a lot of good and create a lot of solutions that will better
yeah.
society. And they can do it for absolutely nothing because there are
Wow.
free tools you can leverage. Then another thing I'm going to mention is apart from it's preparing your data, storing your data in an AI ready infrastructure provider like Google. For us in Nigeria, I mean, we use a lot of Google Drive, Gmail, Google Sheets, and the rest of it. Of course, we have co-pilots with Microsoft, but I recommend the Google free tools on Google. I mean, for preparing your data. That way, if you're using Google Sheet to store customer records, for instance, you can always export a CSV and put it into whatever system you want to put in put it into. Then you also leverage um, SaaS platforms that allows you that make leverage of that leverage AI as well. For instance, for support, which I would say is at the center of any business, you need to have several channels via which your customers can reach you. There are free tools online that allows you to create a full-blown, robust, knowledge-based platform. Do you understand that you feed your FAQs into, and eventually you can then integrate that FAQ that you fed? I mean, the FAQ, the frequently asked questions, will give the AI system an idea of how you run your business, what the frequently asked questions are, and you can integrate that into the chatbot, which can then, answer people's queries on the fly without having to speak with a live agent. You can do all of that for free, absolutely free. I mean, for people who are just trying to, what about starting their business, is a way to cut cost, is a way to help you focus on the business at hand without having to break the bank because you want to deploy the latest technology. So that's it for me.
Wow, thank you so much. I just love today's session, right? Honestly, like I said, I consider myself a kid at the candy store because of the depth and the energy that you all have brought, from Cletus to Mobashola to Mr. Yodeshola. I just learned context engineering, right? It's something I do, but I didn't realize there's a word for it because when you prompt, it's not just about the prompt, it's about the quality of your prompting. So thank you so much for putting a word to that as well. I think I can now make noise that I know context engineering. All right. Thank you. So I want to come to you, Cletus, but before I come to you, I want to touch base with Moboshola because I believe the question I have for her is going to feed off to what I'm going to ask you. So Moboshola, please, I want to ask, from what he has shared, how is AI actually helping in scaling digital products and reaching the right audiences? He had touched on the fact that if you want to scale, you have to implement various solutions, SaaS, and all of that. But in your experience and for the global platform that you currently work with, how is AI helping in scaling digital products and in reaching the right audience as well?
Thank you. I feel like everything that should be said has been already said. Um, very interesting examples as well have been shared, but I mean, I'll just go right into it. But I think that AI is playing a very huge role in scaling digital products and ensuring that people reach the right audiences, and emphasis on how they reach the right audience efficiently. Um, to start, I like that we set a lot of context around how AI is not you. AI is not your product. It is an assistant. It is, the icing on the cake that makes the cake yummy, really. And when it comes to scaling digital products, I think I've cited examples in my first session or the first time I spoke. I think that when you look at platforms like Netflix, Apple Music, Spotify, for example, for example, I only watch action movies. That's my favorite genre. I will be surprised if I opened Netflix and Netflix is showing me maybe horror movies that I will never watch. And the same thing applies to other products, right? Spotify playlist, the kind of music that you like to listen to. E-commerce, you don't want to. I mean, people say, oh, they are listening to me. Instagram is listening to me, but Instagram is not listening to you, for example. AI ops products to learn how you behave as a user, knows the kind of things you want to interact with. And, there's a lot of social graph. You're connected to your mom, you're connected to your friends are liking this kind of content, they share this kind of content with you. And, AI helps us to make sense of everything. And so when content is being suggested to you, they are personalized. And so I think that's one of the greatest strengths of AI. Not like we weren't doing it before, but we want to do it better. And like I said, it's still day zero. Like AI is just starting. There's still so much more to come. There's still so much data that AI needs to learn for it to give us the best results on our products. When we also look at things like feature prioritization as startups or as small businesses that are building, you want to understand what market trends it is before you build a feature or invest your resources or your engineering resource or time as a business. And how do you do that? I feel like that's something that AI really helps you to do because it understands your users, knows their expectations because of the behavior and how they use your products, for example. And then machine learning can help you analyze those, analyze user feedback so that you're building the right things for your user base. I think in terms of scaling your operations, I have cited examples of, AI-powered customer support. And I think that the last speaker also spoke to that, how you can use AI for customer support. You don't have to build a 500-man team. And I think a lot of banks are doing that. For example, with your bank, you can chat to them on WhatsApp. The initial responses you get, even though they are canned tuna responses, I mean, that's what we call them in sales, right? One answer for all, but it just helps because then you have some support before a human comes in. And that helps the businesses also to handle thousands of conversations simultaneously without necessarily hiring like an army of customer support people. When you want to generate content, for example, people say, I struggle with defining captions. Content creators, businesses want to share and, put their products out there digitally. How do they do this? They use AI to do that and in a more efficient manner because now I like how he said, as the last speaker said, no more creator blocks, right? You're not saying, I do not have an idea of what to share. I don't know the right caption to share. I don't know when to post. I don't know who to share with. I don't know who to target. So those questions are questions that shouldn't be, or those blocks are blockers that should not exist anymore because now you have AI assistants that are helping you with that. And when it comes to reaching the right audience, as I've said emphatically already, AI models help you to analyze your customer behavior, their demographics, and help you to, create hyper-targeted segments. So you're not maybe, I mean, if I sell sportswears for women, I know that women that engage in sports will like it, right? But do I know their age? Do I know their buying power? Do I know what kind of products they've interacted with in the sports space, for example? I may not have that robust knowledge of my demography or my target audience. And so that's where AI helps me to reach the right people so that when I'm spending on ads, when I'm spending on marketing, even billboards, I mean, we would not be putting billboards of alcohol close to maybe redemption camp, for example. I'm just citing an example. It might not apply in this case, but it helps you to spend more efficiently and more reasonably so that you're more efficient as a business. And I mean, I've cited examples of ads, but I think that one is something that a lot of businesses do because, of course, you build great products, you're not going to keep them. You want people to use them, and so marketing is like the life blood of a lot of businesses. But I think finally, again, when you think about product development, you also want to test your products. You want to be sure that they are stable before you release your products or you launch them for use. And I think that's also somewhere that AI helps. You can test your products. There are so many tools that you can use to do QA or AI-powered testing, for example, so that bugs are minimal and your products are quite stable before you launch. So I think that there's so many, like Airbnb is using AI to ensure that, they are suggesting personalized results to users. Amazon is doing the same with their recommendations on their platforms. There's Siri, there's Alexa. There's so many things that are happening, but I think that each one, it's to each one is own. I think that businesses need to identify what problems they need to solve and cannot afford to solve, and AI can solve for them. You can't solve every problem with AI. And like the last speaker said, people built AI. AI cannot replace humans. I don't think it's something we have to overflog because that's established. AI is your assistant, it is your help, it's the fuel that keeps you burning or keeps you going or makes you go even faster. So as a business, you want to automate complex tasks, you use AI. You want to make product experiences more relevant for users, you use AI. You want to target the right people, you use AI. You want to improve, optimize your development cycle as a software engineering company, you can use AI. You want to improve operational efficiency without necessarily growing your team to a point that you're bankrupt. You use AI. So I think that AI isn't just an enhancement, as we've said, it's very essential. But at the same time, when you're building or scaling your digital products, AI is your companion. And I think that anyone who wants to build sustainably and build efficiently, AI is your go-to.
Wow, sustainably and efficiently. Thank you so much, Mobola. Thank you for doing justice to that. I picked so many things from what you shared, but I will be picking back off that so much later. We've been having amazing comments from our community members who are joining from various platforms. So just want to let you know, speakers, that you're doing amazing. And of course, we've had some people join us in the Zoom room ever since you started speaking. So just want to welcome everyone who's taking time out to join us. This is the ninth edition of the business series for tech economy, and we have a whole lot of library of recordings on our YouTube. And the recording for this will also be shared as well. So if you by the chance network kicks you out, don't worry. This is being recorded, and you can actually get back to it as well. So for me, who I am quite privileged to be a technology project manager, building IT solutions and SaaS solutions. Cletus, I want to come to you because whenever you roll out products, you see your dev team, the software engineers, even as Omomoshola has said about the fact that you want to test out this thing before you launch it at scale. When you do launch at scale, there is still security threats to it, right? And you cannot like hire an army of cybersecurity to come and help you with that. So we really want to know, can AI also be a solution in strengthening cybersecurity defenses? And if yes, how can it? And in a way that is practical to our audience here. Thank you.
Okay, I don't know. Can you just confirm you can hear me? I actually
Yes.
changed my. Okay. For that particular question is quite an interesting question, right? Because many people right now are rushing to build products. They might not really know how they can be able to strengthen their defense, especially with the invent of AI. So I always say that AI can serve as a threat, but it can also serve as a shield for you. Now, what do I mean by AI serving as a shield? So we have what we call the real-time threat detection, right? So AI can actually help you analyze billions of events. Like you can have so many events which a normal human cannot actually analyze. It might even take you years to be able to complete the analysis. So it can help you analyze billions of events to identify anomalies faster than humans. I'll give you a real life scenario. Like that trace, right? They actually use machine learning, right, to stop ransomware mid-attack by detecting unusual network patterns within seconds. So within seconds now, that trace actually use the machine learning algorithm to be able to detect abnormalities in their network, and they can be able to stop ransomware attacks in seconds. If you give a normal human that opportunity, it might take them like 3 months, 4 months to be able to achieve that. Take, for instance, you have billions of data and you actually want to analyze patterns in those data. It will take you time for you to start sorting the data one after the other. But with the invent of AI, right, you can be able to analyze those billions of data within minutes and seconds. So also, like AI actually helps with predictive security. Like AI can be able to predict an attack vectors before they actually exploited. Now you can have your system, right? And you can be able to give your system to some AI tools that can be able to like, okay, good. What are the potential attacks that you are at risk to? So it helps you analyze your system and also check out those particular attacks that your system can be subtle too, and it can actually help you prevent those attacks. Like for instance, now Microsoft Security Copilot, they actually, yeah, it's a very good one, good example. They analyze global threats intelligence and to warn enterprise of new vulnerabilities ahead of public disclosure. So before new vulnerabilities get to the public, Microsoft Copilot, Security Copilot, actually helps to analyze those global threats and actually gives you an alarm and tells you, okay, this is the possible threat which your system is vulnerable to. So another part of it is fraud detection, right? So bank actually use I actually work, we build a fintech application. It's called Sure Banker. So under the HHOD Microfinance Bank, under Inclusion Technologies. So we actually use an AI, right, to be able to flag unusual financial transactions. Now, especially in Nigeria, right, we have so many scammers trying to um, use money and try to clean their money. They might be able to steal money from somebody and want to be able to pass it through this platform to this platform to this platform so they can be able to clean that money. You understand? That's money laundering. So with AI, artificial intelligence, like bank actually use it to flag unusual transactions. Example is, I think Mastercard, right? They have an AI model. They blocked 20 billion dollars in fraudulent transaction in 2024 by recognizing abnormal spending patterns. Now they can be able to check out the user spending patterns. How are they spending this money, right? Okay, good. This is what he had always transferring to so and so. This is this. How are you? This money is coming, the inflow, your outflow. They can be able to analyze the user's inflow and outflow, and they can be able to block that particular account, flag those transactions. So also, right, automated response, right? So AI system can be able to isolate infected machines instantly and prevent the spread. So before maybe a threat actually gets to an existing part of the system or part of the system, right? So you can have different AI tools that can be able to help you isolate those infected aspects of your system so it doesn't spread out to different part of your system, especially maybe the your database parts that are very, very integral. So an example that I can give is Cloudflare, right? Their AI-driven will automatically quarantines suspicious servers. So during I think is it 2024 the common botnet attack, right? So Cloudflare's AI-driven wars were able to like prevent massive DDoS events in seconds. So actually, they actually help out to prevent the threats from spreading to some existing part of the system and actually saving you money. So in actual sense, so from the angle of the audience, like the AI, right? Actually, the attackers. Okay, how do I even put this now? The same, the same AI that attackers use to create threats, right, can actually be turned into defense. Like you can be able to use it to detect abnormalities, predict attacks, and even stop intrusion in real time. So before they get to your system, you can be able to know that, oh, this is where your the system has the vulnerabilities. Just example, you're building a house right now, and you know that the windows are not too strong, right? So you can have an AI system that can be able to check the quality of your house, the infrastructures that you've used to build that particular house, right? And you can be able to detect that, oh, this particular window is not strong. So if there is a gunshot, it can be able to penetrate. If there is this, it can be able to penetrate. So it helps you to detect where your system is vulnerable and actually helps you to prevent those particular attacks in your system. I think basically I've been able to like hit the few points that you can be able to use the AI solution in strengthening your cybersecurity defense. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Before you go off stage, you did mention a whole suite of products, but I just want you to maybe slow down to mention some that that audience can leave here to start trying out. I know you did mention Cloudflare and certain other solutions, which are more like enterprise-grade solutions developed by these big organizations. But which are the existing ones that I can leave this call and go try out and start using for my organization?
Okay, so actually the Cloudflare, right, the AI driven world, they're actually there for you. It's not just on a massive scale, right? They can be also be used on a smaller scale, right? You also have this AI, the Mastercard AI models. So I think they are actually out right now, and they can be able to help you detect abnormalities. You also have the Microsoft Security Copilot. So that actually helps you to analyze global threat intelligence like very, very fast. So basically, you have some few tools, right? I think maybe before the end of the meeting, I'll be able to drop more. But with these particular tools, right, those are the main tools that I can beat my chest that okay, yes, this can be able to you can use this for fraud detection, you can use it to predict security. The remaining tools that might actually be mentioned, right, I'll send on the in chat, right, will actually just few tools that are actually in development, have not been tested on a large scale, right? So I don't give you something that you're going to go and use and it's not giving you the exact what you exactly need. But if you need something that you can be able to filter your system both on a large scale and on a smaller scale, I think these few tools which I have mentioned can be able to help you out. So what I'll do is I'll drop on the in chat those tools, the ones that I've mentioned, and some new tools, right, which can be able to help you out in the AI cybersecurity strengthening. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Cletus, for that succinct response. We'll be looking out for that in the chat. And this takes me very smoothly to Mr. Deshola, because he has touched a lot on rolling out products at scale, and also the same was highlighted by Moboshala. And so I want to know from an architecture perspective, how should businesses prepare for how should they prepare their infrastructure for AI integration? I don't know if you caught that.
Yes, I did. Can you hear
All
me?
right. Yes,
Can you hear me?
please. Yes,
Okay, so
please.
I touched a bit on this when I was answering the first question. And I said the first thing is to ensure that you are organized in your thoughts. Because I mean, if you're disorganized within, you are going to be disorganized, with whatever it is that you're doing. So you need to have a clear-cut vision. Where are you heading? Second thing is to start small. You need to start small, and be innovative right where you are. Because I mean, the purpose of innovation is not steez, like they say. I mean, it's not to just look fanciful, whether it's online or offline. The goal is to solve real-time problems for people. So you want to have that in front of your mind as well. Then the next thing will be to prepare your data. You need to make sure that at every point of the way within your organization, you are capturing data. That data, it could be that you are, say for instance, you are trying to bring a certain solution to people in rural areas where uh, tech usage or tech adoption is really low. You want to capture that data offline, but then that data will not remain offline because you have a vision to be able to mine insights and mine data on the fly sometime in the future. And I'm making reference to there's a project that I'm on around recycling where we're going to be capturing data from people in rural areas. And that data will be captured offline, but then we'll be imputing that data into some sort of infrastructure that will then tell us um, the story around the data we've been capturing visually via a dashboard. So how do you do that? I mean, there's AI in the mix. So the thing is, with all of the tech giants out there, there is some sort of AI model at the base of the infrastructure. With Google, you have Gemini, you have VO3, you have Vertex AI, you have all of these AI models within the mix that allows you to leverage the scalability that AI offers. Do you understand? Whether it's at the level of mining insight from your data for productivity, at the level of personalization at scale, automation, and so on and so forth. The idea is you are not having to scroll through lines of code or lines of data to make sense of your make or glean insights from the data pool. You can do that on the fly because AI is now at the base of the infrastructure. Amazon has its own as well. Whether it's Amazon, whether it's Microsoft you're using, there's AI at the base. So what I would advise people to do is to integrate their structure into this infrastructure that these providers have made available, because you are allowed, you can actually start you can start with their free tier, And I keep making mention of Google, especially for small business. I'm not talking about big businesses now. The big businesses can go for the Amazon, they can go for for the higher tiers, but for small business, there's a wide array of tools that you can leverage to help you achieve scalability from an architectural standpoint. So the take home is prepare your data, make sure you're capturing that data. If you have to capture it online, it could be via a Google form, it could be via a form on your website that sends the data to a Google Sheet. Do you understand? You send that data to Google Sheets for every time people fill up the form. You don't have to invest on some database. Hosting platforms will come with MySQL natively. You can leverage that. You can have a copy on your database if you want to. But for the purpose of being able to mine insight from that data, you can send it to Google Sheets and then leverage the AI model on that cloud environment to mine insights continuously from the data that you've been capturing. So then there is there's the scalability as far as your processes is concerned as well. So if you're sending data to a central database, you can pick it up from any point as well. It becomes a data point that you can extract insights from, whether from your mobile phone, from your laptop, or from any tech touch point that you have in the future. But the base idea is that you are now able to, without necessarily being a big organization, you can now leverage the infrastructure of being able to mine insight for your business and continue to make, decisions based on that insight for growing your business. So the inherent opportunity lies in the fact that you don't need to break the bank again. I'm going to bring that there. You don't need to break the bank, and you don't need to be a big tech firm. And you also need to define whether you are a business leveraging technology or you are a tech business yourself. A tech business is trying to push the boundaries of technology, but a company that is leveraging technology is not necessarily a tech. So the investment that a tech company will make in tech is not necessarily the kind of investment you should be making. Say for instance, I have imported 1,000 Nike sneakers and I want to sell. I don't need elaborate tech for that. In fact, I don't need a website to sell that. I can leverage WhatsApp. I can leverage Telegram. I can leverage Instagram without a website because I am basically just leveraging technology to drive my business. If I am trying to build, say, um, a multi-tier gaming platform online, then I know I need to leverage an infrastructure that allows me to scale and scale fast. I'll leverage the Amazon S3. I'll leverage EC2 instances and the rest of that. And definitely for me to be going in that direction, I must have made the necessary investments possible, probably from external people that will be funding the payment for that infrastructure. But for a business that is simply leveraging technology to drive what the core business is, which is probably to sell cars or to sell sneakers or to sell shirts or to say lecture people. So you say, for instance, I have a course I want to release. I don't need a website for that. You can put your course on Seller or Sell Fanny. Seller, if you are going for the premium version of Seller, for instance, you pay a token per month. But Sell Fanny says you can start at no cost, you can continue at no cost. We basically just want to partner with you. That's just an idea. The same thing applies to leveraging artificial intelligence. Start small, and you find out that for as far as your business continues to exist, there's a lot you can make do with the free versions of things. So I encourage people, there are free tools out there that you can leverage. And as far as infrastructure is concerned, all of the great and huge cloud providers like I said again, from Google to Amazon to Microsoft, they offer a free tier that you can use for a long time. And I highly recommend Google because it is, in my own opinion, I mean, a lot of people might differ. There's a lot you can do there, from collaborating with your small team to storing your data to mining insights from your data while leveraging artificial intelligence.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Deshola. I have a quick comment before I welcome Mr. Kechuku into the room, on one of our speakers who just joined. So far, Mr. Deshola, you have been like the preacher on this panel with the way you have been speaking and more of bringing up solutions and insights as well. I would say Mr. Cletus has been more of the teacher. And then for Omobashala, you have been more like the mentor with how you have been guiding and sharing insight. So just want to let you know, thank you so much again. I can't say thank you enough. Thank you so much for the fire that you all have brought to the platform. I wonder if Mr. Kechuku is going to come in as the evangelist here. All right. Good morning, Mr. Kechuku. I hope you're doing great. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me also?
Yes, I can hear you
All
loud and
right,
clear.
good morning and then apologies, sincere apologies
Yes.
for joining in it here.
No problem. You're informed us, so we're good with that. So quickly, I want to jump you and take you straight into the fire. As a software developer, not just software developer, but a full stack developer, how has AI changed the way that you, a developer, and your peers build and deploy applications? And before you jump straight into the answer, the theme of the conversation has been angling a bit about, not a bit, much to security, because you don't just want to build and deploy things, but you want to build it that are scalable and of course are user friendly. So how has AI changed the way you build and deploy applications for customers and for users as well?
So thank you very much. So AI has changed a lot, for software developers like us. When I mean a lot, I mean a lot, So it benefits software developers, and then it benefits users, CEOs as well. Because before now, if you're going to like build a solid product, you can take 6 months for development, and probably maybe like 2 to 3 months for like a lot of testing to make sure everything works well, But now, if you're going to build a solid product, you can do it in 4 months, 2 to 3 months for development, and then the next 3 weeks or 1 month for testing because of AI. So this is what it brings, or this is what it has brought, to help both software developers, users, tech owners, and the rest. So for software developers in particular, before now, probably in 2013, 2014, it was just Stack Overflow. You could have bugs or issues, and it's taking you 4 days or 5 days, to solve. At the moment you solve it, you don't want to work that day again or the next day because you feel like you deserve a break. You've done a lot. You can want to work on a particular feature and it's taking you days, But now, like it's easy, And I don't know if there's any tech CEO here, but okay, I think I'll just say this, So it has made it possible for developers now to like take, 2 to 3 jobs when you work remotely because you have AI, to help you do these things. You're not spending 3 days or 2 days on a particular feature. There's this new one called Cursor AI. Like you integrate it to your code. So I mean, you want to work on a feature, you just tell it what to do, and it does it for you. So the major thing AI has done for us, whether as software developers or as product owners or anything, is speed time. Speed time. Another thing it has done is for deployment, you don't need to waste time, struggling through PR issues, code merging issues and everything. In fact, if a PR is going to fail, there's an AI that can actually predict that and tell you this PR is not looking good. I mean, it's going to fail. for so and so reasons, and you just solve it. So this, these are like the big things AI, has done for us, software developers, product owners, and users. It has made things fast. It has made deployment scalable. You can scale, just as Additional was talking. You can scale your product as big as possible now, because of AI. And I mean, big companies are using this, so everyone can leverage from this actually.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. I will come back to you on not just the benefits of the AI, but of course the threats, because you mentioned Stack Overflow. It's funny that you mentioned that, because I was just working on the profile for the founder yesterday, and there is almost like information overload, and we know that with information overload comes confusion. So when I come back to you, I want you to also touch on some of the negatives that AI has brought into the software development space as well. But I want to come to you, Mobashola, because I know you'll be dropping off quite soon, so I want to respect that. As a final question, how can businesses, we'll be speaking a lot about, oh, you can leverage, you can use that, but then how can businesses, business owners, techpreneurs, small business owners, career professionals, how can they leverage AI ethically while still driving product adoption and revenue, knowing that these two keywords, product adoption and revenue, are like the focus for every digital business. So how can you leverage AI ethically while still driving these key focuses of a business, please?
I think this is the far most interesting question for me, because I know that everyone who ever decides that they want to build a product or start a company are doing it because they want people to use their products or adopt their products. They also want to generate revenue. And I remember then when I was in high school, they used to teach us product centricity and customer centricity. And so they would say, oh, product centricity, the business is focused on how the product looks, revenue gains, and adoption. But when it comes to customer centricity, you can achieve all of those, but putting your customer at the heart of business and ensuring that you're protecting them. So I think that balancing ethical AI use with your business goals is not just possible. I think it's a value proposition. It's a competitive advantage that your business would have over others. And this is because it's the way to go if you want to earn user trust, and especially through transparency and fairness. And I think that if you want to be in the game for long term, these are things that you should prioritize as a product owner, as a business owner. And essentially, when we look at ethics, right, there are so many principles: fairness, respect, compassion, empathy, responsibility. And so when it comes to responsible use of AI, there are so many things that come into play. For example, I expect that a product that I'm using collects my data and uses it transparently. A product should be able to tell me, oh, we're using your activity to personalize your experience. They should be able to let me know that they are learning based on how I'm using their product. I don't expect to find out or be shocked that that's happening. I also expect that, they get informed consent from me, and they do not take controls out of my hands. I should be able to, still manage my personalization requests. I should be able to opt out if I do not want to. These are things that people say every time, and it looks like gospel, but I think that when we start to enact privacy laws and AI ethical laws, then a lot of people will be more responsible. But I do not think that we have to wait until there is those acts, or there is a punishment for doing the right thing. I think that products and businesses should also only collect the data that they truly need. And I think there's a principle called data minimization. You don't need every data. You don't need to use every data. And in fact, one of the first things you do when you're learning or you're using data for machine learning is cleaning data. There are some data that are not necessary. So you shouldn't collect all data. You should only collect the ones that you need. then you should also explain decisions that you're making to your users. For example, okay, we are recommending this dress because you liked this other thing, or because, or this is how you've used the product. So people should know, and they should know why your product is making a certain decision for them, or why things are priced this way, or why this is what they're seeing. There's also dark patterns and manipulative AI, and I think a lot of us have also said that and emphasized on that. Sometimes we want people to endlessly spend time on our apps, or do so many things until we fake urgency, for example. And these are not necessary use of AI. This shouldn't be use of AI. Also, sometimes, we want to exploit people's vulnerabilities, like, oh, people who maybe every night they shop at night. For example, now advertising products that are high risk to them, like maybe smoking, drugs, or things that could harm them. So I think at the end of the day, it's really your customer at the heart of your business. You should want to protect your customers. You should want to respect them. And this should guide how you use their data as well on your platform. I think that another very critical area that has brought fear the most to people about AI is also how, people feel like AI will replace human value. But I like that we've established that, it would only empower but not replace human value. But I think that a lot of businesses and products have to reassure people who work with them, to make them know that, what, we're not using AI to enforce decisions or like automate decisions entirely. We're just using it to augment human decision making. It is your assistant. We're not going to use it to replace you. AI will help us cut costs and enhance your abilities or capability as a human that has been employed, but it's not going to replace you. And I think this is very important because it's a complex issue. It's something that comes up every other time, but I think it's something that we really need to discuss in the ecosystem. I also think that, it's important that that balance exists as a business. So you want to drive revenue. You don't want to spend so much money as a business. You don't want to have to employ too many people as a business. Of course, everyone is looking for a way to grow revenue and cut costs, but at what expense? I think this is one question we have to keep asking ourselves. So because you want to improve personalization, you're using AI, at what cost, and to who does the cost go to? So we should be very careful with how we use this. And I'm very grateful for principles or regulations like the GDPR, and Nigeria has its NDPR, for example. And I'm really looking forward to the AI Act and how much it protects users as well. So I think that these are the balance that we need to strike when we are building products. So even though adoption revenue is our goal as a business, which is understandable, and in fact, it makes only makes sense. But I think that it's very important that we are using AI the right way. We're using it ethically and in a way that doesn't threaten human existence. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I feel like clapping, but I know that will mess up the sound. Right, that's just how I feel. Thank you so much, Mobushola. I know you have to go, so I want you to help with in just either one sentence or under 1 minute. What is your vision of the future of work and the future of business in the age of AI? Either one sentence or 1 minute.
I think that's very interesting. And I know there are software engineers here, but no offense. So then when I got into tech, my friends would tell me, oh, learn a programming language, just learn. And I started taking classes. I would stay back at work to learn. And one time I just thought about it. I was like, I didn't know this AI thing was ever going to be a thing, and I didn't see it coming. And one day I just thought about it. I was like, is it possible for something to be developed or built in the future that can do this thing? So is that somewhere I want to be found? Is that somewhere I think I can add the most value? I just said, you know what, I'm not taking this class anymore. I mean, respect to software engineers. I feel like As you said, AI is never going to replace them, never going to replace anyone, in fact. It would only enhance their capability. But I think that the future of work is the work that if humans cannot do, cannot be done. I think that if it's not something that is at the heart or the core of humans, cannot be done. So I think that that doesn't mean that anyone who's doing something that machines can do should stop it. I think that we need to up our value. So we need to increase our value propositions as individuals to ensure that we're delivering value that only humans can, and only humans can do so efficiently. Because at the end of the day, the reasons for which machines were introduced in the first place is to save time, the cost of time, people, and all those resources. So I think that whatever it is that only you can do, at a scale that only humans can do efficiently, is what you should invest in as people.
Awesome. Thank you so much for bringing those valuable insights. Everyone, thank you so much, Omoboshala. She's the international product manager at Meta, and I know that they have a conference coming up. So please follow her. Tech team, please drop the LinkedIn handles for all our speakers so that we can also follow them and connect with them. And if anyone has any question, they can take it beyond this room. Thank you so much, Omoboshala. I know you have to drop off. Do enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll be getting back to you. Thank you so
Thank you for
much.
having me, and thank you, Adeshola, Ikechukwu, and Cletus. It was really nice sharing the same panel. It's an honor.
Likewise. Likewise.
Thank
All
you.
right. Yeah.
All right. So I jump to you, Cletus. As a last thought, and please, speaker, this will be the final thought. So as you answer, also take the question that asks what is your vision of the future of work and business in the age of AI? So last question from one of our community members to you, Mr. Cletus. How should organizations balance AI adoption with data privacy and regulatory compliance?
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a very important question, right? Because I think that's a major problem actually in the industry. So, like, I think this regulatory compliance issue, I think TikTok was actually a victim of that. So, I think TikTok faced 345 million euros, right? Yeah, in fine for violating GDPR around children's data, so illustrating the cost of non-compliance. So if you don't have the compliance in your software, you're actually going to face an issue. So with this, right, there are different strategy you can be able to use, right, to balance AI adoption. So number one is the privacy by design. So you can be able to build AI systems with encryption, right, and limited data collection. Like, okay, good. Especially Apple, right? Okay, good. An example is Apple. So on Apple device, you have an AI processing that ensures sensitive health data like heart rates, like your heartbeat, your heart rate. So they ensure that that data actually stays on the user's phone. So that's the user's iPhone, thereby reducing that privacy risk. So they don't allow that particular data to go out. So that's privacy by design. So another strategy they can use is that's the transparent data use. So you can clearly inform your users what data is collected and why is this data collected. So now I think OpenAI they actually offers opt-outs. The opt-out system actually helps users to prevent their chats from being used to train future models. So the OpenAI, which is common with the by the world in the world right now, ChatGPT. So you can be able to opt out. So now they don't use the informations from your chats, right, to be able to train future models. So you can be able to opt out, right? So this actually helps the transparent data use, right? So you always have to keep people in loop, right, for critical decisions, especially the users of your system. So I think in the European Union, right, the banks deployed this AI credit scoring, right? So they actually included human reviewers, right, for high risk lending decisions. So this actually helps So they are trying to like put critical decisions actually need strategy also. Then I think the last is the regulatory compliance, right? So you can be able to check out the laws, right? Align with the laws and the regulations guiding the particular field that you are actually keying into. So laws in Nigeria like the NDPR, like in EU, the GDPR, or I think there's a current upcoming AI Act, right? So you can be able to build your systems right around all these acts and to be able to have the balance in adoption and privacy regulation. So you won't be a victim like TikTok. Imagine starting a business and you are being fined 345 million euros, like starting that business. That's a huge loss that you will never recover from that. If you can recover, it's even companies like TikTok that they have actually grown in revenues that can be able to like recover from it. So businesses can actually treat privacy as an afterthought, right? Compliance is not just avoiding fines; it builds trust and actually ensures that the customer feels safe sharing their data with you. So you have to like build a system that the customers, the users of your system actually is going to like feel safe to share that particular data with you. Take for instance on your banking application, you want to open a banking application. Most new fintech now are actually growing. So they'll ask you for your BVN, your NIN. Those are private data, right? So if you don't really feel safe, you won't want to share out your bank verification number. You'll be hiding it. No, why are these people actually requesting for my bank verification number? So I think with that particular transparent data use where you can clearly inform the users, right? Why is this data collected and what data is collected? Now, we need your BVN because for we to be able to generate an account number for you, your BVN is actually required for us to generate an account number for you. So I think with this angle, right, it can help applications owners, business owners to be able to cement their AI adoption with data privacy and the regulatory compliance system. Thank you very much. Then also sorry, the last question, right? Sorry, I almost skipped that. Like what's your vision, right, of the future works and business in the age of AI? So I always say something that AI actually will help to reshape the workforce by eliminating repeated roles, right? And creating new industry skill sets. Like it also helps you to um, create a workforce around automate routines, tasks, human efforts are actually being reduced, and it helps to increase the creativity, the empathy, the strategies. So I think Ikechukwu actually made mention of some coding tools, right? Like he made mention of the Cursor AI. I think I got to know about the Cursor AI that was last year in November, right? And since then, I've been using it. It's been growing. There've been different updates. Just imagine you having a system where you can be able to integrate an AI inside your coding tools. Like it's just like having a VS Code. Like programmers actually know VS Code. It's just then you have a chart by the side where you can be able to ask the chat, okay, I want to be able to build this feature. It even goes as far as you uploading screenshots, right? Imagine you could just go to your Figma, right? That's the normal Figma that your UI UX designer have actually designed, and you just screenshot it and you give the AI and tell the AI to be able to build this particular feature, right? You will discover that it's going to build it. It might not be as accurate as you think or the expected output, but you can be able to refine it with your knowledge and the context which actual Mr. Adesola actually spoke about, giving it, telling it that you've not gotten what I want. You understand what the hell is wrong with you? Get this thing done. When you are prompting AI, you actually you'll be frustrated. You understand, but actually with that repeated tasks of and the context, understanding the context of what you want to do, and the prompt engineering knowledge, right? How knowing how to give the AI the right context. Like some people don't really know how to prompt the AI. So sometimes to get the best out of your artificial intelligence, the AI, right? You can be able to okay, maybe you want to pose as a senior developer, right? What particular this thing will you be able to use to develop this? How can you be able to do this better as a senior data engineer? So it's now going to give you a response as a senior data engineer. It's not going to give you a response as a junior data engineer. So it's going to give you a high level answers and outputs. So I think with that, right, AI have actually helped to shape the future work and businesses. Now, another example is we have the no code tools, right? You don't need to code those tools. I think also is part of it. They have a new agent, but we have both AI. Now, with both AI, you have soft gen AI, you have Replit AIs. Now, imagine you want to build a website for your business. You have zero knowledge about coding. Just visit both.new, cursor.ai, replit.ai. You can be able to just prompt it. I want to build a website for my business. This is what it's going to do. This is just give it the context of what you want. It just and watch it do the miracle. So with AI, right, repetitive tasks have been solved. It helps you to solve your tasks very fast. It reshapes your imagination, reshapes your output, and it helps you create new industry. Now, it's not all about building applications because anybody can build applications. It's how fast you can be able to sell your solutions because most people can come into the industries and AI will help you build your applications very, very fast. But how can you be able to sell that particular application or that solution you have actually developed? I think with this, I've actually had on my closing statements. Artificial intelligence is your co-pilot. That's my statement, right? It's actually there to help you increase your productivity. Thank you very much to the community who have actually asked all these questions. I hope we've been able to I've been able to help you understand the usefulness of AI both in cybersecurity, in your defense, and also in actual increasing your productivity. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for those salient points. I'll jump to you, Ikechukwu. So this is a two-in-one question, right? Real quick, because our time is fast winding down. Do you think AI tools like code generators will replace or empower developers? And as you answer that, what new skills should young developers focus on to stay relevant in this AI-driven world?
Okay, thank you very much. I don't think tools like code generators would replace developers or replace jobs. So I think most of the speakers have touched that part already on empowerment. That is what we do, or that is what it's doing. It's empowering you. I mean, just like I said before, you know, if a project is supposed to take 6 months, now it's taking 3 months, or it's taking 2 months. So it's more of augmenting, okay, focus on this, let me focus on this. How fast can I do this? So it's not replacing anybody's job, and to be honest, I feel like new jobs, have even come up based on different AI being generated now. New jobs are coming up, like prompt engineering, annotations, I mean, jobs that help AI give perfect responses. So if you start using OpenAI from when it came out, from ChatGPT 3, to 4 and to 5, you see that the way you get your responses are like you could give it a prompt now, and if you give ChatGPT 3 a prompt now, you can get a perfect answer probably maybe like in your next 2 or 3 prompts. But if you give that same prompt to like ChatGPT 4 or 5, you can be getting the correct answer in the first prompt. So these are what the jobs AI has created, for data annotation, prompt engineering, just like Cletus mentioned, like you have to know how to prompt these AIs. You have to know how to, like that's a skill on its own. You have to know how to prompt these AIs, to get the perfect response from them. So I don't think that replacing code generators, are replacing anybody's job, So it's just basically empowerment, augmenting, making everything look right and work well. So to the next question on what's the next question about?
What skills can would you advise young developers and builders to to focus on so they can be relevant in this AI-driven world?
Yeah. So first things first, like I mean, I would say that the software engineering space or software development space is is quite saturated now. You know, a lot of people have seen that, oh, okay, tech is the new oil. You know, so when I was in school, we just did it was just electrical engineering, petroleum engineering, mechanical engineering, mechatronics engineering, you know. But now there's information technology. In fact, there is software engineering departments in schools now. You know, like these things are being studied, you know, now. Everyone wants to come into this. Everyone is learning, like is trying to like learn how to code, you know, or having development skill, you know, as a side hustle or something. So it goes beyond just learning how to code. You know, you have to be able to like um, develop soft skills as well. Or you're working in a team. How do you communicate? How do you work well with your teammates? You don't want a situation where I've had a colleague like where he lost his job because I mean in a Slack workspace, you're coming to joke. You're coming to do LOL, you know, dropping emojis. This is not what you're here for, you know. So you need to like be able to like develop soft skills, you know. And then I think I can't remember her name. Before she dropped, you know, you need to upscale. I mean, just learning how to code will not cut it for you. You know, you need to like upskill, keep learning new things, learn how to work with AI. So I think I saw a topic on that says AI will not replace jobs. The person using AI will. You know, so the person using AI is the next threat, not even AI. So you need to, you know, as you're learning soft skills, you know how to work with these new tools coming up. You know, because whether you like it or not, like they are here to stay. You know, it makes things easy for everyone. So it's here to stay. So you need to like know how to work with them, know how to like give prompts, you know, that will give you the best response, you know. Just like Cleto said again, like um you need to have speed, you know, while you're trying to like develop a solution, you know, someone already using AI can actually like, you know, drop that solution or, you know, or must have worked on that solution already. So in a nutshell, you know, that's just it. AI is not here to replace jobs, you know, it's basically going to like empower, you know, augment everyone, not just developers, you know, and then learn soft skills as well as just upskill. You know, just getting a coding skill, you know, would not cut it for you now because almost everybody can code. You know, I mean, the simplest prompts you give to an AI, and I mean, a landing page is generated already. So you need to be able to do something beyond that. I think those are my last words, actually. Thank you very
Wow,
much.
thank you so much, Ikechukwu. Even before you brought up the example of your friend losing a job, I wanted to share a vulnerable moment that happened to me a couple of years back. I didn't know that because of course with remote work you think, oh, you're chilling in the house, right? I didn't
Yeah.
know that you still need to give fast responses, right? And so that was just it. It was just giving fast responses. A message dropped by 12:06, respond between 12:06 to 12:16. So that's 10-minute bandwidth. And I didn't know that, but doing the work, you're doing amazing input. But then just by that reason, that was it. And so that was quite sad. But thankfully, affliction has not arose again. But I want to say to a CEO, a founder here, feedbacks are very important. So if your junior developer, your intern, or even your managers are slacking, before you take any action, please kindly give feedback because a lot of people will actually turn around a new leaf if they get honest feedback and kind feedbacks as well. So thank you, everyone. I want to end with Mr. Adeshola, right? Your closing statement. Um, what do you see businesses and work becoming in this AI-driven world? Your closing statements, please. You're muted. I'm not sure you can hear me.
You
You're
know,
muted.
I
Okay.
think, can you hear me now?
Yes, there is a bit of a lag, but we can hear you now.
Lag, okay. Okay, so there's something um that I've always held close to my thoughts. I mean, over the last 2 decades, and it is the fact that software engineering, design, animation, whatever it is not about coding, designing on your favorite tool. It's beyond that. And as a matter of truth, before AI became popular, it has always been said that on a software engineering project, for instance, it is just about 20% of it that is code. A larger part of that project depends on critical thinking. In fact, critical thinking is the most important aspect of any field of study. Your ability to think within the sphere of that body of knowledge. I mean, whether it's software engineering, your ability to think as a software engineer. And for you to be a brilliant critical thinker, you need to read materials beyond coding, materials that are not just about coding. So and what people fail to understand is whilst AI is advancing, and whilst the layman is advancing from just using email to being able to generate maybe a flyer for social media, or being able to generate a simple, landing page, the software engineer that knows what he's doing is also advancing to the next level. And there's no end to the level of expression that a human being can attain. So whilst you that wasn't a programmer yesterday is now doing a bit of programming, building basic solutions with AI, the software engineer is also building the next level of complexity as far as applications are concerned, because you need to understand that if you leverage AI to create maybe a game or a software, you are still limited if you don't have the foundational knowledge that allows the cyber security expert, the software engineer, the animator who has been a professional for ages, to express himself. I mean, the frame of thought, you don't have it because you've not spent time learning it. And it's easy to go by what you see on social media. If you look at the reality on ground, I will say, considering the reality on ground, we don't have enough software engineers. We don't have enough software engineers that know they are tough, that can really do the job, that you can easily call and say, solve this problem for me and go to bed. They are not a lot. Ikechuku, I mean, correct me if you think I'm wrong. You don't find, I mean, because a lot of people, especially with the fact that attention span is low online, a lot of people are not going deep. A lot of people are scratching the surface and thinking that's all there is. So I say the future, so I see two futures. If people will adopt the culture of learning and discipline themselves, by subjecting themselves to the necessary process to become seasoned in any space, then we'll arrive at a point in future where, yeah, a lot of people are empowered. We have, probably the tech industry will then be saturated. We have to look for the next level of expression. But for as long as, and the other future is a scenario where things continue as it is now, where people are looking for quick dopamine rush. You want to learn web design in a week and become a professional. You want to go for a 2-day seminar and become a professional in blockchain. You're not going to become a professional. I mean, just with 2 days learning, and you think that AI will sort out the rest for you. It doesn't work that way. So the future that I go for, in reality, that I think is realistic, is a future where the professional who is serious about his work, who is serious about continuous learning and unlearning, becomes more of a seasoned professional that can leverage AI to solve better problems, solve bigger problems. And the layman as well, who is particular about being literate online, can then step up from just being able to use maybe Google Drive and sending emails and using WhatsApp to doing basic things like maybe creating a landing page, that is functional enough to capture data and send to a Google Sheet or send to an email, and he's able to do that with artificial intelligence. But if you are going to really advance, say with using AI for software engineering, for building applications, you might not necessarily need to spend 7 years learning that or spend 2 years learning that, but you will have to spend time, because there's always a learning curve. A lot of people despise that. There's always a learning curve. Your learning curve might be 1 week, 2 weeks. For some other people, it might be 3 months, but it might even be 2 hours, but there will be a learning curve. If a software engineer like Ikechukwu picks up a new programming language, it won't need to spend 1 year because it's already that. He has spent years doing that, doing the work and learning. His learning curve might just be 2 weeks or 3 days, and he gets it up and running. With AI, it's probably just spending the next 10 hours getting adapted to the new system. And that is not because his brain is sharper than every other person's brain. It is because he has experience under his belt and is able to go back into memory lane and pick concepts that he can impute into AI to scale up his output and get quick results. So I think there's a lot of seduction online where, you are seeing these adverts and you just feel, if I just click this button now, AI will just do everything for me and I can spend the rest of my day, at the beach. It's a lie. If you don't understand object-oriented programming, see, what is going to happen is a lot of people are going to build shitty solutions because they think, okay, there's AI now, let me just impute something to ChatGPT. There's a story of people who gave their solution to AI and AI deleted the entire data. On a production platform, it deleted the entire thing. It's tricky because no matter how brilliant AI gets, in my own opinion, it will never replace the psyche. Do you know what the human soul is? With all of us on this call, we do not know everything about ourselves. You subject yourself to a new process, you find yourself in it, and you're amazed at you're amazed at your response. Do you understand? We are still learning about our own selves. Do you understand? So AI is catching up. It will only continue to catch up. So, I mean, there's nothing bad with the presence of AI. It's helping me in my work. It helps me to minimize error, but I'm able to minimize error because I have the base knowledge which will then stand, or which I can then use as an ingredient for critical thinking. If I think about my prompt, I think about what I want to achieve, I'm able to create an elaborate prompt that steers AI directly at where I want it to land. A person who does not understand anything about databases, you don't know anything about SQL, you don't know the difference between SQL and no SQL, that's a big gap in already. You not understanding that part of software engineering, you not understanding, I'm talking about beyond writing SQL codes or not. You not understanding that as a concept itself will limit how you prompt. You are going to prompt, you might end up with a beautiful interface, but what about what runs on the back end of that application? The nitty-gritty of how the database relates with the server, responds back, the kind of server you should pick. You don't know all of those things. There is a limit to what you are going to be able to create compared to what the software engineer is able to create with, by leveraging artificial intelligence. So the future in a nutshell is for those who continue to learn and unlearn, those who have made up your mind to be continuous learners or lifelong learners, irrespective of where you currently are in the scheme of things, whether you're a beginner, you're a layman, or you're a professional. The rule of not everybody is going to become a technologist, but trust me, if we get to a point where laymen are able to press a button, and build a full-fledged app that is error-free, then the software engineers, trust me, are going to scale to a level where they're able to build applications that can take us to Mars in 1 second. I mean, it's just the rule. It's the rule of skill. For me, Ikechukwu is not going to stop learning. I'm not going to stop learning. As professionals or technical guys within the space, we're fascinated by new tools. Cletus is not going to stop learning about new tools. He's a professional. So that AI is going to scale the ability of those who are already doing something meaningful and doing it properly. It will help them minimize errors. It will help them create. So if we are creating solutions, 10 solutions in 2 years, we can start creating 10 solutions in 3 weeks. Do you understand? Because we understand the rules of the game. We understand the rules. We understand the principles to apply. We understand what the pros and cons of things are. A layman does not understand the difference between a code base that utilizes too much memory on a machine and versus a code base that helps you to manage resources, while still achieving the same brilliant results. So that is my
Thank you so
those are my
much.
final words.
Thank you so much for that submission. It's quite powerful, and we can see from all the reactions in the room. I want to close with this statement because we are out of time. I've been organizing free AI trainings for the past 4 months, and it's supposed to continue till December, every last Saturday of the month. And you would think that people know a lot about AI until when you get them into a room and you start training them and you realize everything you said about context, about even knowing what to do and what not to do is amazing at what I have discovered. And so there's this closing statement I always make is that the internet era, that's the dot-com era, brought about a lot of millionaires, right? And then it's the same with crypto, blockchain. It did the same. Web3 also did that as well. You see millionaires like what's his name, the owner of Dallas Mavericks. He came from the dot-com era, right? And you see like there's this trace of excellence or proof of work in their lives. And my prophecy is AI is going to create even much more millionaires and even billionaires. Are you going to be part of that number? Because if you are curious, if you are consistent, if you're excellence driven, of course you would want to learn things and you would want to apply these things. And I see this even in the startup ecosystem, in the fact that people who had worked in reputable places like maybe InterSwitch, EcoBank, Access Bank, they were the pioneers of fintech solutions because they have learned how to build payment gateways and infrastructure. And so you who just came from somewhere who has a passion for payments and all of that, you cannot stand part to part to them because they have the residual knowledge and all they're doing is applying it and crossing it over to a new system or a new technology and all of that. So everyone watching, you have to be curious, and that's a mindset that God gave us, right? It's not in AI, it's curiosity. Because even when you're prompting AI, sometimes it will ask you, do you mean this? It wants to know from you because you are the driver. It is curious. So if AI is curious, how much more we human beings? So I took down a lot of notes here.
Start your writing with Jenny AI's auto
Curiosity.
write 10 times faster with auto e-text
Tech team, please take care of
By
that.
over 2 million academics worldwide, Jenny AI is trusted by top universities and businesses.
All right,
for
so
research and writing.
curiosity and all is what is needed. So please, everyone, kindly be curious, be teachable, and be excellence driven. Thank you so much, speakers. I can't thank you enough. Tech team is going to share your LinkedIn handles to the chat, and you can do that as well so that our community members would engage with you and take questions beyond the room. Thank you, Cletus. You've been a big supporter of this project, and we're quite happy that you always turn up for us and stay even to the end of the calls. We don't take that for granted for anything. Thank you, Kechuku, for coming up, even with this slight change in schedule. Thank you for your passion, Adeshola, and also thank you to Omoboshola, who had to drop off for a work meeting as well. This is a work day. It's Thursday, and you give us 2 hours of your time. We don't take it for granted. We so much appreciate, and we'll do our best to keep nourishing this relationship and keep showing that we respect your value and your time as well. I will also reach out to you guys on LinkedIn and see how we can take this initiative further. God bless you, and do have a pleasurable rest of your week. The recordings will be shared to you as well, and so audience, the recordings will be up on our YouTube. Also the audio would also be out as well on Spotify and other audio platforms, so you can actually have choices in the recordings. And so please, speakers, when we share the recordings, also help share it to your community and your network as well, so that we can also learn from this impactful conversation that we've had. Thank you so much. My name is Imo Anselm, and I'm privileged to be your host. And yeah, I'll see you in next month's edition. Have a great one and enjoy your weekends.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right, yeah. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Thank you, Imo. Thank you.
Thank you.